So it's Monday morning, and this week is a bit different. This week, me and Jamo go to France to install the conveyors. So we've just stopped in Cambridge Services. Jamo is fully breakfasted. He's all raring to go. Got his passport. You got your passport?
Yeah, I've got passport.
You did bring your passport. Okay. Got your driving licence?
Yeah, good.
Oh, good. So we're all good. So we're off to France today. We're flying from Stansted at 11:20. So we're just on our way down to the airport. The plan this week is we are flying today. We get to Limoges in France. I think that's how you spell it. Limoges. In France. We're going to have a quick brush up on our French lingo on the plane, aren't we, Jamo? Yeah.
We need it.
We need it. It's either that or we're going to be using Google Translate all week. So the plan is we get down to the airport, get checked in, get on the plane, get across to Limoges, and then we're picking a hire car up, and we've got a 2-hour drive to site. We'll probably go to site and scope out where it is and what the plan is. And then we're staying in a hotel nearby, and we'll probably call it quits then today. You just can't rush these things. And then we're on it tomorrow, installing those conveyors. Not sure what order it's going to be in yet. Not sure what we're going to get when we get there. We're literally making this up as we go along at the minute. We've made plans. We've got that crate that got loaded last week. That's got all the tools in it. How much room is there in there? Is there many tools in there?
No, it's not that many.
Not that many. Well, that's good, because that's all got to come back in our suitcases. I'm confident we're going to get it all in.
Hopefully.
If not, we might be leaving some at the airport or paying extra to bring it back. So that's the loose plan. We're back on Friday, so we're there for 3 full days. Not convinced we'll need the 3 full days. We might be in the pool on Thursday then, Jamie, at the hotel.
Sounds good.
If we get done. So you bought your swimmers?
Yeah, I bought them.
You bought your rubber ring, inflatable? Got all that with your water wings. Got all them. So the plan is to get that done this week. Back on Friday. It is a little bit of a top secret site, so I'm not 100% certain how much we're going to be able to film whilst we're there. But we'll do our best, and we'll see what we can bring to you viewers. So let's catch up in a bit. So you're looking forward to this week then, Jamo? Yeah, tough week this week, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, well, we'll take it easy to start with. Side of the road.
Yeah.
Does it feel a bit weird?
It's horrible. It should be on this side.
Okay. Bonjour. Je m'appelle Gavin.
Bonjour. Je m'appelle Jamie.
Ça va?
Très bien.
That's it, très bien.
Ça va?
Ah, comme ci, comme ça. So we've landed in France. Picked up the hire car. Now I was expecting everybody to be driving Citroen 2CVs in France, but I was wrong. Been a little bit disappointed. I thought I was going to have a umbrella handle thing to change gear. But we've got a lovely little Ford Cougar, very French. So we're on the road now. It's messing with Jamo's head that we're on the wrong side of the road. He's feeling a little bit vulnerable in the passenger seat. It's all a little bit weird. So we're on the road now. We've got just about 110 kilometres to the hotel. We're going to go to the hotel, and then when we get close to that, we're probably going to change the sat nav. We'll probably just go to site, scope the job out, and then we'll head off to the hotel for the night, and then we'll hit the ground running in the morning and make a start on installing these conveyors. And we've got to get around this lorry now. Speed limits are a bit weird in France. It's all in kilometres. Feels really slow. on the country roads it does anyway. On the motorways it seems alright. Country road feels a little bit slow. But beautiful part of the world this, very nice. It's a bit like Canada stroke New Zealand. Very foresty looking. Yeah, very nice. Like it. It's all good. Anyway, we'll catch up in a bit.
We construct these out of 4mm sheet steel. We buy in 3 meters by 1.5 meter sheets and cut, I think it's 2 sides per big sheet. So we do get quite good usage. They're solid. There's definitely no breaking. What Connor's doing now is spraying some anti-spatter spray. Just a little bit, you can see there, just 1 bit of spray. And that makes it a lot easier to clean up the wells. You can see over here. He sprayed it over here. You get all these little dots, just little balls of hot metal that have just formed. Normally, without the anti-spatter spray, you'd have to chisel them off, grind them off, however. With the anti-spatter, just 1 wipe, and it's all gone. So much more efficient. It's good to use for the welds. It doesn't affect them at all. Yeah, very handy. Just at the end of the paint room here. Currently drying off, we have 2 bespoke ramps for a local customer. They've had some work done from us before, a bit of maintenance work, a bit of fabrication. So we have made them some ramps. They are a vineyard, so they go up these ramps with their loader, and then they're going to load into a hopper, which feeds a conveyor, the grapes, which then goes into one of their other processing machines. So yeah, that's another small job ticked off, ready to go. Customer, I think, is going to collect first thing in the morning. Yeah, very happy. So, one of our customers has dropped off some material, ready for us to test. You can see, well, I'd like to think you can see what this is. There's a little logo down there. So this is a load of car parts. You've got loads of plastic bumpers and trim parts that they're going to be shredding up, testing through one of the machines we have in the yard. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what happens. Yeah, if this stays in, you'll see the video.
So this is where we're staying. A little village called Sleepy Hollow. Don't be fooled by the lights, because there's nobody here. There was literally nobody here, apart from the 4 villagers that are in there where we've just had our tea, and they're still eating. Nom 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 nom. Thought we'd left this in the UK. Obviously not.
here we have the infeed from the main glass Raptor being assembled. See all the rollers and bearings are there. We've got the tail roller in, bearing and adjuster are on there, all sorted. Same both sides, so you can see all the rollers here. That is what is going to be supporting the entire weight of all of the glass that's going to be there. And that is the little motor mount. That's where the motor's going to get mounted later on at some point. The chain has now gone on the Raptor as well. So we've got a big old motor here with its sprocket. The chain has wrapped around our big drum with our sprocket teeth welded onto it. Yeah, ready. As soon as we've got electrics, we'll give it a run up, quick test, just to make sure everything's working as it should be. Just down here, we have got the motor for the infeed. That is a big motor. Neil's over here welding a tank for the oil drainage. So the idea is we'll have 3 IBCs. Obviously, this will be rotated 90 degrees. 3 IBCs draining into this. And then down here, there will be a sump welded in. It's over here. There'll be a sump welded in, which has a, here it is, pipe and flange welded to it as well. So this will extract the oil from the bottom. We've got our 2 little spigots there. They are just for the oil level, so that the sensors can work and let the staff know when it needs emptying. Now the construction site boxes have had their first process within the paint applied to them. So, or first and second to be fair. So we've applied a red oxide paint, which helps prevent rust, and a thick rubber coating. So this is the black stuff on top, so you can't see the red oxide now, but that black stuff on top just gives it that extra little bit of waterproofness. But obviously every welded seam is welded inside and out. So we've got a fold there. So this is done in 2 parts. So you've got a folded piece there and a folded piece there. So you've got folded seam, welded seam, welded seam. Very minimal welds to do on there. We've got, as you can see, the weld here. It's been taken back a little bit. Fully welded on the outside. Might be hard to see. Fully welded on the inside as well. Yeah. The plan is, so it's currently a Thursday afternoon, I think. Yeah, Thursday afternoon it is now. So these will be ready for Friday afternoon. Tomorrow lunchtime, customer hopefully will be collecting Monday morning. Have one of the cut lists that Colin, our chief cutter, is given. So this is for a MIDI screen, 312C. It's bigger than the 21Cs. It's 3 meters by 1.2 meters, I think. Yeah. Here's the cut list that we are given in the workshop. So I've got all the measurements down the side. So here we've got the item number, so that's just the part number that we've got given. The quantity, so how many of each part that we need, and then the material, so you can see how it changes throughout. So we've got a bit of box section there that's different size, 160 by 80, sorry, and then 100 by 100 box. So we colour coordinate them, just a bit easier for us to work out and see. Makes less errors. So yeah, we've got that cut list, which corresponds to this drawing here. There are other, say they're somewhere else in the pack, but we've got other drawings that show these in more detail. This is the overview cut drawing of this part. This is the entire frame for the 312, and it has now been cut. Colin has cut that. It's on a pallet, ready for the fabricators to take. Here we go. So this is the cut material for that 312C. We've got all the small parts resting on the sides here, down those bits of box section. Everything Cole cuts for us is numbered up, so the fabricators have no issue at all putting everything together, working out what goes where, checking measurements, anything like that. It's simple. And then again, they get a copy of the drawings which have all the numbers on. They can work from that, check everything from there, and yeah, just improve efficiency. I don't know if Gav's already spoken about this, but this is our newest racking that we have. So we've got a lot of big projects going on at the minute, so we had to self-invest in some racking. This is something we've made in-house, recycled. These are all beams from the mezzanine that we ripped down a few episodes ago. So yeah, more storage for us, keeps everything off the floor, keeps everything a bit drier because it gets to drain a bit easier. And then yeah, That's what we want. Not sure if you've shown this before, Gav, or if you want to show it, but I thought I'd do a little video on the EB215. It's currently in stock, sat around the side. Now here we have the painted sections conveyor system. So that, I think, is a pretty good reflection there, certainly from this distance. So yeah, well done to Dan for that. Doing well on the paint, keeping it going, nice consistent colour. We've just moved on to a different type of paint now for these, so these are a lot thicker. The paint itself is harder, tougher, more scratch resistant. That is what I believe we're going to be using for everything in the future, moving forwards. So yeah, there's one set of the frames, and here is another load of them. There's another, I think the same amount, yeah, another 2 of these and 1 of these in the paint room being finished painted at the minute.
Okay, so we're in France, and we found out from site we're not able to film whilst we're installing, which is going to be a bit tricky, not what we thought. As I said earlier on, not surprised at that. The customer has been super top secret about the rest of the plant, and we were aware that they were a bit sensitive about filming, even to the point where when we asked for an overall drawing of where everything was going, they wouldn't give it to us because it also included all the other machines in there. It's that top secret. So I did manage to film the bit at the end because they did say that we could film what we'd worked on. So I did actually do a film of it all installed and completed, which we will put in now.
So here we go with the conveyors all in place. Recognise these from previous episodes. There is a reason why they're all in spread out areas. There's some other machines to go between them. So we've had to work to a drawing with the dimensions on for this. So the material comes from that conveyor through that wall and then is processed this side of the wall. A bit tight on the ceiling on some of these bigger conveyors. But they are now all in place, exactly where they should be. Still see the chalk marks on the floor, where we marked it all out on the floor to make sure everything went in the right place. Yeah, all these have now been run up. Interestingly, very little adjustment. We actually run these in the workshop and made sure that the tracking was right in the workshop. And I did wonder if it would come here and we would have much adjustment. But actually, I think the only one we had to adjust was this one. And that was very minor, just to put the belt into the centre. But all of these have been run for an hour each. So we know the tracking is as it should be. No problems. So what they're going to do now is they're going to put these other machines in that go around it. And then they will hardwire in these conveyors along with all the other machines. I think there's a control panel going over there somewhere. So they'll do that. But yeah, sorry we couldn't film during the install. There's a lot of other stuff going on that they didn't want filming. But they said that as long as we just film the work that we're doing, which wasn't easy, we would be okay.
So that's the conveyors installed, as you can see. All 5 conveyors, all run up, all done to the dimensions. As I said earlier on, they gave us, they wouldn't give us drawings of where it was all going, but when we did get to site, they did actually give us a layout drawing of our conveyors. So we had to use the datum points from certain points of the building, and we laid it all out on the floor with the chalk marks, as I've just showed you. And everything is where it should be. It does look a bit odd how it's all been installed because there's other machines that are being installed and put in place, and they're coming next week, I think they said. So there's other machines going in around our conveyors. Our conveyors are feeding them and taking material from them, which is why it all has to be put to what the drawings say. What they're actually doing there, they're taking some titanium swarf, which I'll show you a picture of that here.
And what they're doing is they're taking that titanium swarf from the aerospace industries. I'm guessing in France, the only aerospace industries I can think is probably Airbus. I don't know where their factory is in relation to where we are here in France, but I would guess that's what it is. But whatever they're doing with it, they're certainly producing quite a lot of material. It's sort of a couple of tons an hour that's going to be going through this plant, which is quite a bit. I think it's 2 tons of titanium swarf is probably about 12 cubic meters, so like 12 IBCs worth it is. So yeah, quite an interesting project, interesting company. One thing that was a bit of a surprise, they have got a really harsh policy on tungsten. Apparently when they get to this stage in the process, if tungsten is introduced into the swarf in any way, because it's so far into the process, they've got no way of detecting it to come out. They've got ways of detecting it earlier on in the process. But when it gets to these guys here, because essentially what they're doing is they're taking in titanium swarf and they're cleaning it for it to then go on to be remelted to make new titanium. So they've got no way of detecting tungsten in the mix. And apparently there was a crash, an aeroplane crash about 40 years ago. A component failed, and when they analysed it, they realised that there was some tungsten mixed in with the titanium, and that's why it failed. So they've now got a zero tolerance policy on tungsten coming in, even to the point where you can't even take a ballpoint pen in because it's got tungsten in the ballpoint, which I didn't know. So yeah, really interesting company. They've got plants throughout the world, and there is some talk of some other work coming up for them, which is quite interesting. Talking to the guy in their projects team on site, they've been flat out doing installs all over the place for the last couple of years, I think he said. And there's a lot more in the pipeline. So hopefully we've done a good job, and hopefully they'll come back to us again in the future. That's us signing off from France. It's now Thursday afternoon. We've been here on site for 3 days. We're finished mid-afternoon on Thursday, which is nice. Got the job finished and left just on 3 o'clock. So we're just on our way back to the hotel now, and we fly back tomorrow from an airport, which is probably one of the smallest airports I've ever flown back from. Tiny little place. Literally, you've got one building, which is your arrivals and departures, pretty much a fence separating the two. And I think the plane from Ryanair is probably the biggest they'll actually take into the airport. So yeah, we fly back tomorrow and we'll see what Archie's been up to. Have you had a good week, JMO?
Yeah, big.
Yeah, JMO's enjoyed himself. He's had, what have we eaten this week?
Lamb shank.
We've had lamb shank, which was a safe bet looking at the rest of the menu. Beef shoulder last night, which was, no, beef and foie gras wrapped in cabbage. That was last night. And tonight we're going to go for sweetbreads. And if anybody doesn't know what they are calf bob. I'm sure Andrew's just beat that bit out, because you can't say that on YouTube. But yeah, we're all done here in France. We're going to head back tomorrow and we'll catch up with you soon.
Morning. It's Friday morning. We're just about to have breakfast in the hotel, but we thought we'd show you the hotel. This is actually turned into a bit of a travel episode for this week's episode. Not much filming on the engineering front, but you've seen a lot of our travels. So I'm no Judith Chalmers. JMO looks, well, maybe it doesn't look a bit like Judith Chalmers. But yeah, this is the hotel where we've been staying. 17th century convent, apparently. There's no nuns here there now, though. Jamie has looked, can't find any. So this is where we're staying. Very pretty houses around here. Big stone houses. The village that we're staying in is a bit sleepy. There's lots of boarded up houses, and must be a holiday destination. There's some golf driving range over there. The lights were on the other night. I think they only do it on Wednesday nights because no lights on any other night, so it's very sleepy. But we're going to go have some breakfast, and then we'll head off in a bit to the airport. And because it is turned into a bit of a travel episode, we'll put some pictures and some videos of the local countryside after this.
See you in a bit.
So good morning, it's Saturday morning and I'm down in the workshop. I thought I'd better have a look around and see where the lads got to this week whilst I was away. Me and Jamie got back late last night, had a good trip, all successful as you could see, conveyors installed, customers happy. By the looks of it they've got a lot of other work to do there, so I think it's probably going to be, from what they said, it's going to be end of November until they're running. So let's hope that all goes well with the rest of the plant for them and they can get it all up and running. So let's have a quick look around the workshop and see where they've got to this week. So this week the lads have done a bit more to the Mayglass trommel. And I know the Mayglass boys have got a big screen in their office and they're probably watching this now, so hello to all of you. Hope you're enjoying the build so far. In your colours, red, using our new paint, which is looking really good. Yeah, a lot happier with this paint compared to our old paint. Just seems to look better. So the lads have got the in-feed belt in, got all the bearings in, head and tail drums, got the chain on the drum. I'll explain to you about chains in a minute. So it's all in position now, sitting on its wheels. The slightly large gearbox is now in place, which looks, I don't know if you can see it on here to be honest, but it is a big old gearbox, that is. Now what we have done on this, on these we normally have what's called a simplex chain. Now here's a lesson for you, bit of Gavin's technical knowledge, not really technical knowledge, if you know you know. You can have a simplex chain, which is this, which is one width, or you can have a duplex chain, which is this. You can see it's double width. You've got two rollers inside. Where on the simplex chain, you've only got the one. So because this is a big gearbox and it's going to have a lot of weight inside the infeed, we've decided on this one to go for a duplex chain. Now, the bit where I say the drum can only go one way is because we always put these auto tensioners on our chains. What you've got in here, that bit bolts to this. Inside there you've got like a rubber mount, and this is actually flexible, so this will actually move and it squashes the rubber inside. So what you do is you put it in position and you spin this square here and you tension it up, and then you put a bolt through there to secure it. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a notch in there where you can put a bolt in. I don't know if you can see it just there. So what you do is you turn this and you preload the chain. You've got these graduations on here as well. It tells you how much tension you've got on. So as the chain then wears and gets slightly longer, it auto adjusts. So it's always under tension. And then when you get to the point where the chain's worn out and this is not under tension, you just put a new chain on it. And then you're back to square one again. So we always use these auto tensioners. Now, that belt is going to be going that way. So the head drum up there on the infeed is going to be turning anti-clockwise. So this is also going to be turning anti-clockwise. So when this is driving, this chain here is being tensioned this way, it's been pulled this way. So this is your tension side here, and this will be your slack side, because there's no, the only tension on here is what's been given by this idler sprocket. So if you had this going the other way, if this went this way, all you would do is you would just preload that tensioner up, and then this side here would be slack. So you have to put these on the slack side of the chain. So that's why we do it this way. So this one's going to have this one coming tight, and as it comes around here, the chain will go slack until it gets to the top, and it'll come tight again as it comes around this side. We do the same on the drum. So as I say, we've got those arrows in the drum that determine which way round it goes, and this will be the tension side here, going that way, slack onto the tensioner over there,
up onto the drum, around the drum, and then comes tight again at the bottom till it gets to the gearbox. So that's why you can't go both ways. We have had customers in the past that when we normally install these ourselves, but on the rare occasion that we do send them, because we do a smaller version of this that's got forklift pockets with the bunkers and everything involved, and we have sold them in the past and the customers just took them as a standalone unit, and they rung up and said the chains fell off. And I said, you've got the drum going the wrong way. And then when they check, they have, because anybody who knows about three-phase, you can wire it up. You can just by changing 2 wires on the supply, you can turn motors and gearboxes either way. So if it's going the wrong way, you swap 2 wires and it goes the right way. And that's what's happened, because the slack, it pulls the tensioner up and puts the slack down here, and then the slack doesn't find itself onto the teeth and it pulls the chain off. So that's why we always put the arrows in the end of the drum, just so that when we get to site, we're installing this, so when we get to site, we can, as soon as it goes on, we can determine whether it's going the right way or not. And we just bump it around, make sure it's going the right way, and if it's not, we change the wires and make sure it's going the right way. So there's a little bit of technical knowledge for those of you that don't know how chains work, tensioners, duplex, simplex chains, and all that sort of shit.
In other news this week, Andrea has sold a new style deck screen. It's going to be similar to E21's. This is a completely new model for us. We've had 2 inquiries fairly close together for a special bespoke build, and there's a variation on this model, but hopefully both customers will go for this in the end. One has definitely gone for it this week, and we're just waiting to hear back from the other one. So we've got 2 special build, similar design to an E21 but different. That's all I'm saying at this moment in time. Once we get a bit further down the road and get the designs finalised, I'll share them with you in the following episodes, and you can see how they're going to be different to what we've already done, and then you can see the whole process. And we'll probably include the CAD design element of this as well, so you can see how we go from a concept through to design, all the way through to actually building and testing and running the product. The customer knows that this is a sort of a bespoke build. It's a prototype. This is probably a model that we're going to have in our core products range, because it is something that has cropped up in the past. All I'm going to say is it's going to be really useful for landscapers that want to screen in somebody's back garden. So you'll have to keep watching following episodes to find out what I mean by that. So this week's fun British engineering facts. Bloody hell, the phone's ringing now. It's Dave at D&J. I wonder what that could be all about. Probably about going away this weekend. So where was I? Me and Dave always joke that when we ring each other, we try and interrupt each other's videos, and Dave was successful this morning. He's interrupted me filming. So where was I? Okay, this week's fun engineering fact. Now, we think computers are a new thing. When do you think the world's first electronic computer was done? Now, this is British engineering. We always think of computers as being an American thing, or probably Far East. But no, the British were the first people that invented the world's first electronic computer. It was Colossus in World War II, and it was used to decipher messages that the Germans were whizzing around. So we were the pioneers in computer science. Bet you didn't know that, did you? So that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. I'd like to see your messages. Had some good messages last week. Interesting that people prefer the shorter version rather than the longer version. And because we don't do this for money out of YouTube, we're probably going to do that. If ever we get a week where we've got a lot of footage that is probably more than half an hour-ish, what we'll probably do is we'll either do a longer episode as a one-off, or we might do a midweek episode. And we'll let you know on the Sunday whether there's going to be a midweek episode the following week. So, as usual, like, subscribe, and if you like what you see here, why not share it with somebody else that you know that might be interested in it, because it's good to spread the word. We'll see you on the next one.
Spitfire engineering services.
Here we have the infeed hopper being assembled. What was that, Rob? Hello? You want to be on camera? No. Anyway, take two. Here we have the... Oh, Rob's just there. We have the... oh, I'm laughing now. Here we have the... And Gav, please cut this out, because that just sounds really bloody weird. Don't know what to say, really. It's a big motor. MX-5 up for sale. Who wants it? Come here, get it first. It's yours. Not really. I'm just joking.